Good
Welcome
evening.
to the 40th episode of Live with Jill and Frank. My name's Jill Petrie. I'm a psychic medium.
My name is Frank, and I'm a spiritual coach. And we
How
are
you
live
doing
with
tonight,
Jill
Frank?
and Frank. Doing good actually. Um, yeah, we did that thing last night. I want to talk about that. We were wondering about topics, and we're going to talk about something we did last night that was kind of cool, or at least
hmm
that worked for me. Not everybody
Yeah,
thought
it
it was
was
cool,
cool.
but I thought it was
So,
super.
um, let's start off by saying I don't think you had ever done that before, had you?
Yeah, I had once.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, yeah.
So, did was it different from your first experience?
It was. I think it was similar. Um, In some way. Yeah, it was similar in some way. The thing is, I have no idea what happened in the meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have no clue what she said. Like, whatever, because
You
I
zoned
guess,
out.
yeah, I guess that's the thing, because I remembered doing it. So I kind of just, I don't know, it just started by itself. Like, it just kind of, like, the first thing, I mean, yeah, it started writing weird stuff, and then it got, well, actually, it got weirder after. So it didn't matter. It really did. Like, I didn't write stuff that I would be uneasy to understand.
Did your interpretation resonate with you?
So okay,
And
let's start by explaining to people what we did,
yeah, let's
so
start
they
there.
can follow along. So what we did some automatic writing. Uh, Jill brought us. We had a circle with friends, and we brought. Jill brought. Well, actually, how about you lead us with what the meditation was, since you're the one that brought it and you know it better, and I zoned out.
Oh, it was a guided meditation for automatic writing. So basically it was like a 30-minute exercise, but it started off with a meditation, but then it continued on and guided you through the writing process and like the question process.
Yeah, because I remember it said that it started telling people, like, to connect with whatever spirit or whatever they felt like, or whatever. And I already have a thing I connect with, so it, like, for me, I was just already like, oh, okay, well, yeah, duh, that's the
Mhm.
one. And it just, I don't know, it just, like, it totally kicked in for me, and I just started writing stuff. And it was weird, because sometimes my brain would want to, like, kick in, right, and try to, like, understand it, or try to make sense of where my hand was going, because it was like, well, that's not going to be, I'm not going to be able to read this. Like, what the hell am I doing, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, crap. Oh, well, too bad. It doesn't matter. The hand is just going, and I can't. If I stop it, I'm going to stop the thoughts. I'm going to stop the. And then images came. Like, some of the stuff came in images, and it was like, okay, well, do I write those, or what am I doing? So I wrote some of them, and I don't know. So it was just such an experience. It was fun.
So did you like start writing during the meditation before she told you to, or
Oh yeah, long before. I like it just I at first, before she even talked about the questions, before she even talked about anything, like, I had and it wasn't very, like, nice either, but I had this vision of, like, the earth that was, like, all just scorched and gray and
Mhm.
whatever. And that's what I wrote. I wrote, there is fire, the earth is scorched, there's much to rebuild, gray, very gray. I don't
I
know.
didn't ask everyone else if they started writing before because and I may not have thought about this if you hadn't have said that because I was receiving things to write before we even went into the meditation.
Yeah, like, the minute you kind of get yourself in that receptive place, it's like, okay, well, it's gonna start, right?
Mhm.
Regardless if the lady's ready or not.
Mhm.
So she was, yeah, it was kind of, I got
Right.
her meditate. And even when she called for the first 4 minutes, I kind of, like, had 2 pages down, and I was like, oh, we're starting now. Because she called, like, for people listening,
But
um,
see,
in the
that's really
meditation, she
interesting
called for us to
because
do
for
4 minutes
me
of writing. Yeah, I'm trying to get them up to speed to
that
what we did.
true. Well, 3 times, 3 separate times.
Yeah, and when the
For
4 minutes
me,
would come, I'd be like, "What the
um
hell?"
you already had it. Same thing. But for me, it's not last night exercise. Like I've had that happen in classes, like at Arthur Finley and stuff like that. Just it just comes before the connection with like different exercises, not just automatic writing. Any type of like psychic medium exercise, like connections and stuff. So I think it is that like okay, last night we were connecting with our spirit guides, right? Um so your spirit guide already knows what you're gonna do. Like they're already
I don't.
ready for you before
Yeah,
you
I
even
use a
start the
different thing,
meditation.
but
And once you sit down in that circle and you get ready to start, it just start the information just starts coming.
well, yeah, it's not a spirit guide for me. It's my higher self, but
You
that
cutting
part
out.
of me, I have a connection that's permanent to that part of me.
Talk
Like
again.
it's not okay. You're there's a delay on your video as well.
Okay, now I hear you.
Yeah,
Right,
something's
right.
going on though. You speak, and then I see
Whoever it
you
is for
speak
you.
like seconds later. Wow. Okay, wait up.
Mhm.
We're having a connection issue again.
I think we have a connection problem tonight because your sound's going on and off.
Well, yeah. I mean, you speak
Same for you.
seconds before the image. We're having a like massive connection issue. Crap. How's your little bars there?
Should we stop and come back in?
Well, we can try. We'll lose again the stream.
One, two. I
Oh,
don't know if it's 4 or 5 bars. I have them. I have all four. I have all the bars, and it says you have all your bars. If
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking at the right thing,
I don't see yours. That's what I'm usually. I see yours.
there's not a way to pause it, is there?
No, we have to.
There's not a way to pause it, huh?
No,
I'll send you a picture.
we have to end it and start it over. All right. Well, let's try that
I'm
because we're not. This is not working.
I'm sending you a picture if that helps.
Yeah, I think you're getting back
All
into
right.
sync though. Do you hear me good?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, because you're syncing properly, so it seems things are working. Okay, well, I guess we'll just keep going.
All
So,
right, cool.
where were we? Yeah,
um
that always
Talking
works.
about, well, like for me, spirit guides, higher self, it's just it's kind of like the God thing where we all have our own interpretation or name or what we believe it to be or whatever. But just all in all, basically both of us were receiving information no matter how we were receiving it before the fact last night. And I thought that was really awesome. I didn't think to ask the other people because we had a full house last night.
Hmm.
What did we have? Like 7 people?
Uh,
We had
yes,
a good bit.
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, so
But it
I'll
was
have to ask them.
Jonathan had a good connection too. He had
Mhm.
an amazing connection with uh why can't I think of her name now? Oh,
I'm trying to
Jacqueline.
remember. Oh, yeah, yeah.
He had an
That was never
amazing
ending.
connection. It was
Yeah,
like
well, you got
just
to
nuts.
witness that though. We didn't get to witness it.
It was amazing. Like he was just I don't know. It was just like he was channeling like so it was just like, okay, dude, you're totally connected. Like well, I mean, I didn't even say it. I said nothing. I just watched them for like a
And
while and I was like,
huh?
wow, okay, that is so cool. Um so yeah. So anyways, you guys, so we did that rating and for those who've never tried, it's actually worth it. Like can you post the link or something to that meditation? Is that something we'd
I
be able
think
to
I
do?
can. Let me try. Oh, wrong button. I wanted to do that for you to talk while I find that link.
Because yeah, that was it's worth trying, you guys. It worked for me, anyways. Like I don't know, how many. Oh, okay, that's you sending me. I'm looking at my phone, going like, "What's going on with my phone? Is there an emergency with my kids?" No, it's you sending me a picture. I finally got your picture from before. So, anyways, yeah, it's but the whole thing is to let yourself be completely receptive and to just let your hand write what it's gonna write. And it's very well, I mean, I don't know, right? Because even though he was getting an amazing connection later, for the exercise, Jonathan was like, didn't really do it for him or whatever. So
Hmm.
I guess it depends on, what you gel with or what vibrates with you.
Yeah.
It's
So, guys, I posted that link in the chat. Um, if you want to have an amazing experience, whether you're experienced or not, go and follow that link and do that meditation. It's
Yes.
30 minutes, but keep in mind it's not 30 minutes of actual meditating. The entire process is 30 minutes, which includes the automatic writing process.
I was just gonna say it's fairly short.
Yeah.
Okay, 30
And
minutes.
and once you get going with it, it seems like, the reason why I say that is
It's
because when
quick.
somebody looks at 30 minutes, they're like, "Oh, 30 whole minutes." But once you get in there, it's like it's you don't even realize it.
It flies,
30 minutes
and
seems like 5.
yeah, it's split into parts, and it's very well done. Like it's a very it
Yeah,
was very interesting.
she's one of my better liked guided meditation
Hmm.
hosts. I really like her.
That's pretty cool.
I use a lot of her meditations in Circle.
So what else? What other meditations do you get into? Like what types or what other
We like to do
visualizations?
we like to do chakra opening, grounding, sitting in the power, which is just basically sitting and paying attention to your surroundings. Um, but I do like guided meditation. Now, I do also like the sound healing,
Hmm.
but not everybody can do the sound healing. So usually when we do it in a group, we go with guided, just
Well,
because
yeah,
it's so easy to do, and we know everybody can follow along.
it's very dynamic. It's very engaging. Uh, Versus if you're trying to do, you know, like you say, an awareness
And
meditation where you're just
if
trying
you
to be
want to work
aware.
on something specific, you need to do guided.
Yes. Well, yeah. If you're starting with a goal, then definitely, especially, I mean, yes, I would push that to even like an extreme. Uh, because yes, whatever images if you're trying to cast forth intention, then yes, it would have to be guided. It would have to be like designed a certain way with different elements that represent what it is you're trying to accomplish, sort of.
Hmm.
Or that's the extent I would push it in.
And I tend to fall asleep with usually YouTube running. Like I don't fall asleep in the quietness.
Hmm.
So for someone that's having trouble sleeping or falling asleep, try falling asleep to a guided meditation. It'll get you to fall asleep really easy.
The problem I have with that is that after, when you try to meditate, you tend to fall asleep.
It doesn't matter. Even if you fall asleep, you still get the benefits of the meditation
Well,
because
you
the
get some benefits,
meditation's
but it's
still
not the
talking
same.
to your higher self. Hi, Michelle. How you doing?
Hi. I'm like waiting. But yeah, I mean, you'll get some benefit, but it's not the same. No, you'll fall asleep. You'll fall into sleep mode. Your brain changes the way it works when you get in sleep mode. It's not the same
But
as in
it's
meditation mode.
it's okay to I tell people it's okay. Um
What
it's
I'm
gonna
saying is it's okay if you fall asleep while you meditate, but if you learn to fall asleep through meditation, you'll always fall asleep when you meditate, and that'll be a problem
uh yeah, I see where you're going with that.
because it's
Well,
hard not to after.
but I still do both ways. I mean, I guess everybody's different because the reason why it doesn't affect me is because when I do meditation for work, I'm sitting up. And when I do meditation for sleep, I'm laying down. Like I never do meditation for work standing. I'm laying down. So I
Mhm.
guess maybe that makes my difference. I don't know. Everybody's different.
Well, also usually I guess you'll be doing meditation in a group or whatever, so you're not
Right.
going to fall asleep there. You're not like
Right.
it's not a See, I do sitting meditation where I sit and focus on my breathing and that kind of stuff. So if
Hmm.
I, yeah, when like if I got in a pattern of falling asleep too much, I'd have to find a way to kick out of it, because or else it'll my body will, like my brain will assign this position in this environment with sleep, right?
Right.
Because I always meditate in the same place, and on top of it, it's in my bedroom because I don't have much room, right? So it's like I
Well,
don't
how
like
does
it
that
there,
work?
but
Because you have rules about your about
yeah,
like going.
it's the only thing I do there.
So how does that work? Does
It's the
that
only thing I
affect?
do. Eh, Not really, because it's the only other thing I do there. You know what I mean? So even that when I get there, it's still relaxed. It's still a good environment. Like it's
Hmm.
not a wake up and be excited environment.
Right.
What Jill is referring to, guys, it's because it's a really important thing. I find anybody should try it. I learned young that if you do nothing but sleep in your bedroom, anytime you enter your bedroom, your body and your mind are going to recognize the air, recognize the environment,
Hmm.
and say, oh, now we're in the place that we sleep. And it's going to help you fall asleep. And, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's Maybelline, but I've been falling asleep like a baby for most of my life. So, when it comes to falling asleep, I've got it. But people get pissed. Even my daughter gets pissed because she'll come and sleep beside me, right? And we'll turn off the light, and she's like, "Dude, how can you? No, you're asleep right away." Well, yeah,
Michelle
I don't
says
know.
she can't stay still long enough to meditate. A lot of people, including Frank, have that problem. Frank does not stay still. He's always like he's walking up and down.
And yet, I can do sitting meditation. That's
But
weird, though.
it just comes with practice.
Yes. Something else you can try. Uh See, for me, it's kind of weird because something I tied to meditation for a while was also ritual. So for me, it's something that I do that is also using my body, right? And so
Hmm.
when I was doing only ritual, even if I didn't meditate, the ritual are very active. They're very involved, and they're visualizations, and you're tracing things, and you're imagining things like archangels, and so in something that active, like, you're not going to fall asleep. You can't, right? And then on top of it, I do another exercise. If anybody's looking, I've mentioned them a few times, but the two exercises are called the LBRP. It's the people. Some people are gonna their hair is gonna curl with that one, but it's the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. So yes, you get to trace little stars in the air, and the next one, you go and you balance all your energies in a row, right? A little bit like the chakras, but it's different centers. It's works very similar, but you do that and you awaken them. And I will challenge anybody to fall asleep after doing that, because you're going to be energized. Like I always tell people, don't even do it at night. I refused to do it last night because I was like, well, nobody's going to sleep at
Nobody's gonna sleep.
because it develops a lot of energy. But it's the one for me that, how people are always like, okay, I'm doing all this stuff, right? Like I'm meditating, I'm doing this, I'm doing. When do I get to see something that says, hey, you're doing this for a reason? When do I actually get to see that? Wait up, like something special does exist or whatever. And for me, like the middle pillar is a good example of that, because when you do that ritual a couple of times, there's a time all of a sudden where you'll go like, holy moly, I have so much energy. And all you did was imagine energy, right? Like you didn't go drink anything. You didn't nothing outside of you came in. And yet you finished that ritual and you're going like, oh my god, wow, okay, let's do something, right? And you've got all this energy. And that is because it's so hard to deny. It helps with your brain to go like, oh, okay, so I'm not doing all this for nothing. Like I'm doing it because it does do something. um and it does do something. Like I absolutely 100%, like any of those practices will improve. All we're trying to do, regardless, see, everybody's always hung on, okay, it's going to be like this, it's going to be kundalini, or it's going to be the chakras, or it's going to be the kabbalah, or it's going to be magic, or it's going to be religion, or it's going to be prayer, it's going to be devotion, it's going to be. And the bottom line is all of those things are good, and it's all about us discovering our true place in the world, in the universe, and becoming one with that universe. And as you become one with the universe, one of the things that happens is you'll start dissociating with your ego. You'll start dissociating with everyday experience, because everyday experience becomes meaningless, because now you start a lot of that, you guys, I get from Buddhists. Like the Buddhists have a really, really awesome religion. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And I mean, I take stuff from every religion. It's just I don't know why that one, the practices give results, I find, much faster. Now, don't get me wrong, even Christianity has amazing practices that give results. Like I believe in that prayer gives results if done properly. But yeah, so all of those things, so all you're trying to do is find yourself in you want to tune yourself to the universe, so that at some point you kind of perceive it all. You perceive the oneness of it, and you perceive that you're part of that oneness. And when that happens, life is never the same again,
Hmm.
because now you've felt that. You've it's a feeling, right? Like a knowing and a feeling. I try to differentiate between the two all the time when I talk to people, because I knew all that stuff in my head long before. But how did I get to the point where all of a sudden it's like, no, I can feel it. I want to say see it, but it's not seeing. It's not the same. But I've like I yeah, see, I want to touch it. Like I you kind of perceive the fabric of everything, because yes, everything is energy, right? So once you,
Hmm.
if your mind focuses on that enough, then it becomes reality. It's more than just a concept. It's everywhere you walk, you see it, because you allow it to be. Because all of a sudden you go, okay, well, what if everything is energy? Well, then can I manipulate it? And then you learn ways to manipulate it. And then, hey, guess what? They work. And then you're like, wow, okay, well, wait a minute. Why does this work? And then you continue on that path. And at some point you have no choice than to go, hey, guess what? This all works. Right. But there's only one way to know, and that's to try. Right. And that's what people don't do. People read and read and read, and they don't try. That's the part. If there was ever, if sometimes you go on the Facebook pages,
Hmm.
and people will say like, oh, if you could change the one thing, what would it be, and whatever. I think that would be it. Like people being able to see that. I don't know.
So, do you think that in order to, or I know what you think, but I'm asking you for the viewers, can you tell us what your opinion on being able to meditate as someone that can't sit still like Michelle and like, yourself kind of? Like, how do you overcome that?
You have to allow it. It's for in my case, anyways. Like it's a gazillion thoughts, right? Like I'm ADHD, so I get a million thoughts a second. Um, but when I meditate, what I'll do is I allow the thoughts. I don't pay them much attention. Like they're there, but I kind of just, and it comes with practice, right? At first it's harder. And what you do is when you get a thought, you go, oh, okay, well, thanks for coming, but we're meditating right now, we'll get to you later. Right? Whether it was your dishes, whether it was did I make the lunch for the kids, whether it was, because a million things will come and they're all going to be just as useless. you know it's like, no, I set aside 15 minutes, whatever it is, to meditate. I'll get to you after. It's okay. But thanks for coming. It's I appreciate you being there. And
Mhm.
never resist things. Always allow them to be. That's the most important thing in any practice is always let things come and then let them through. But don't stop them. Don't try to go, no, don't come. Because if you try to block the thoughts, you're going to fight them. And now you're
Mhm.
developing other thoughts trying
Other
to
thoughts.
fight the thoughts. And then yeah,
And then you
no,
have a whole bunch of things swarming
yeah,
around.
yeah. You're like in
Yeah.
a sea of thoughts and and like you can meditate for months before you even get like a second that your mind actually goes blank.
Mhm.
But when it happens and that 1 second, it's like, oh my God, wow, my mind stopped. Holy crap. And then you're like, oh crap, I'm thinking again. And then it doesn't come back for maybe another month sometime. Like for me, it took a while. But it was like that one glimpse. The moment I got it, it was like, oh, wait a minute. Something's there. There's something about this. Like it worked. It worked. And the more I got it, the more I was able, and this is where meditation is for me, is the one tool that we should teach every single human from birth. It allows you to detach from your ego experience. And that's what creates all our problems. So it's useful to be able to look at it from the outside. But that's what it does, because all of a sudden you're able to look at your thoughts, not to be your thoughts. You're able to look at your emotions and not be your emotions. So you don't freak out at people. You don't, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you still get it. If you're an emotional person, you still get emotional. But you become aware of the way you speak to yourself, the way you think, the way you become aware of it all. And that is what it does, right? For me, there's three super important levels, I guess I would call them. Um, there's the us with like our five senses that, is on the physical world and whatever. That's the ego self. That's our self that we perceive in this world. But then we have our inner self, is what I call it. And the inner self is when we meditate, that's what we perceive. It's the self that has control over the ego, because the ego is only a part of that self. And it's got control of the ego, it's got control of like all of our parts are there. And then we have our higher self, and that's our, call it, I guess, the soul or something. It's our connection to our soul and to source. And that part is what we connect through our intuition with. We can also use, if you use symbols, you can gain that kind of communication through visualizations with it, but it only knows symbols, so you can't really talk to it.
Do you
Um,
also consider the higher self to be source to
um,
some extent?
no, it's a reflection of source.
So, like the mirror reflection?
Yes. It's an expression of source, actually. The moon would be a reflection of source. The sun is the expression of source,
Hmm.
and then source is beyond the sun. That's the planets that are used for the. But it makes sense even in physical, because I mean, let's face it. When we developed all that, that's what we were looking at. We were a bunch of humans in the jungle going like, "Yo, check this ball out. That thing's on fire, man." Like, you know what I mean? We did like that's what we did, and we didn't even talk about it. Probably we just went right. Um, I came up with a theory the other day. It's a completely out there theory with zero grounds whatsoever to prove it, but it was just fun. Um, there's the name of God, right? The one I said yesterday. The letters are Yud He Vav He. Some people say it's Jehovah. Some
Hmm.
people say it's Yehovah, and some people say it's well, the Jews say it's unpronounceable. Nobody knows how to pronounce it, and if you knew how to pronounce it, like you would know God. And but then it says God is a verb, right? And God, like God was the first manifestation, and Yude Vave is the first manifestation of God. What if it happened that it's just the very first thing that any human ever said? He just went, Yahweh, and everybody went, "Whoa!" You know what I mean? And that became it, right? Like I have zero grounds to prove any of this, but I mean, what if? It's the kind of thoughts I have
Oh
sometimes.
my god.
But
This
can you
yeah,
imagine?
you're
Can
weird.
you imagine? It could be. It could very well be, though,
Never know.
because yeah, that's how language was born, right? Because like a lot of it, if anybody wants to read like an excruciatingly long but very very amazing book, it was written like 100 and whatever years ago. It's The Golden Bough. It's I swear it's probably 1,000 pages long or something. But the guy, it's the book on comparative religions. He explains how religions were born at the very, very birth of humanity and goes through all the different, part, like how it developed over time and became all the main religions and whatever. Now I'm ADHD, so unfortunately I've only read the first 500 pages. But I suspect I don't know how many pages I read, but and I probably read like bits after. That's usually how I sadly read a book.
The golden bow.
Yes, Bough, golden bow or golden. I don't know how to say the word. I've only ever seen it written, so I'm a. Uh, could I get pronunciation for it online? I don't know. Won't be long, you guys. I'm looking to see if I can learn to pronounce the word. Oh, I guess no. Bow,
GPT.
bow. I'm
BOW.
I'm told by Google it's pronounced bow.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Google. You can ask Google how to pronounce something, and it'll give you an audio file.
Well, that's nice of them.
Yes, the overlords are so great for us.
Thanks,
Um,
Google.
yes. Uh, careful saying the name too loud. Oh God.
It's my favorite picture we have. We need some new pictures, I think.
uh, I don't know. Sure.
So, let's move on to more topics, mystical topics, of course.
What do we have? I
I've
oh no, I had pulled some today. Okay.
been just putting like mystical topics because you never know where our conversation's going.
Hmm.
It's kind of hard to choose. I think it's a good idea to go back and rename it after we done.
Well, we can also pick them before, but oh, that's a good one. Spiritual parenting and family life. Like, that's weird. I've never actually put that much thought into it.
So let's see what do people think that means? Like, if you could help us out in the comments, tell us what you think that means. Does that mean that you need to have your child baptized? Does that mean you need to pick a religion? Does that mean that you need to wait till your child's old enough to decide for themselves? Do you teach your child about a certain God, or do you teach your child things that you've learned or new things you've learned? Or like what does that mean?
I don't know. What does it mean to you?
How are you doing it, Frank?
I suck at every aspect of parenting, so
No, you
that one
don't.
is no difference. We all do. We all suck at parenting. That's the joy of it. But I kind of just, they know what I am. They know like what I do and how I view life and whatever. But I also give my kids as much as exposure to different ideologies, right? Like I open the door. Like if my son, uh, like my son came back, he was reading the Bible at some point, and I kind of, gave him I gave him my copy because he had a copy from school, whatever. And I said, here, like, read it. I said, but beware, don't go have somebody tell you what it says. Read the book and decide what it says. Right. And then I said, but also read the other books and see what they say. Because who's to say that this is the right one? Maybe there's other ones, right? But I'm not telling him which ones to look for. I'm not I mean, I'll give him leads if he wants them, you know what I mean? But it's like, no, go, yeah, you're starting your research, go do your research, because he's already starting, like he's already looking at that stuff and trying to figure out what's going on. And he's said a few times, like, my son has had like weird visions and whatever, like things that so it's interesting to
Hmm.
see where that's going.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to push it. I want to let that stuff sort of come natural as well. Like,
Yeah.
because I find we do that too much. We
But
push
at the
things
same
on
time,
kids.
are it's not pushing it, but at the same time, are you um
Well, okay, wait a minute. So
open,
what I said we push on kids, that's not pushing.
meaning?
Well, meaning we push stuff on kids all the time. We definitely do.
Yeah,
We okay.
of course,
Well,
that's what parenting's for.
no, that's the thing. Well,
Oh
that's what I
yeah, a
find
lot.
most parents
Mhm.
are. No, that's where I find most parents are messing up. It's like, you don't push kids, you encourage them. They push themselves. They're people. They're
Well,
little
that's what I was
people.
asking you.
Like, people forget that. Like, kids are people. They always like, what's a good kid? A kid that shuts up and listen. Really? Is that still where we're at? That's like middle-aged stuff.
We're going off topic though.
A kid is one that's able to express himself, right? So, well, we were talking about spiritual parenting.
So, like, are you encouraging?
I'm encouraging free thoughts.
Hmm.
I'm encouraging my kids to make up their own mind on stuff. Now I have rules because I have to, because I'm a dad and I have a house and I have, responsibilities, and I'll get arrested if they do stupid stuff, and you know what I mean? But beyond that, they're their own people. So they're going to have their beliefs, they're going to have their look, I mean, seriously, by the time they're 20, my kids will probably have taught me more than I will. Like, have you seen the speed at which the world is going? As if I can teach them how to live. I have no idea how to live in the world that they'll be living in. It'll have robots and AI and whatnot and craziness, and like, I don't know. How the hell am I supposed to give them my best advice? I mean, like, I sure I can show them how to switch a tire. Will we have tires? You know what I mean? We're getting to that point. That's the speed at which we're
Yeah, but they'll
moving.
drive themselves.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking, right? So first we had like calculators, right? And so everybody went like, no, okay, you can't let the kids use calculators. They're going to become stupid. Like, they're not going to know math. And so we all used the calculator, and we all went like, well, come on, man, look, it works. We all have a calculator, so who cares? Now we all have a cell phone with the internet on it. And so everybody's like, well, yeah, you can just find it on the internet. I mean, who cares, right? And so now if you go around and ask people questions, they don't know anything. They can look it up on the internet. And now we're pushing that to even more extremes. And it's like, okay, soon we are going to be the most useless creature ever, because we'll have replaced everything we do by some device that does it for us, and we'll have forgotten to do it. Just go to a coffee place and give them some weird amount of change for your order and see how long it takes you to get back your money. They'll be counting for 20 minutes. They'll be all like, if you go and it's like, I don't know, $3.13, and you give them like, I don't know, $4.15. Oh my God, they will never figure it out. Like, they'll be staring at you for hours and like squiggling around with the and it's like, wow, We used to know those things in our heads. Like that's not hard to figure out, right?
Yep.
But no, not anymore. We've weakened ourselves in that respect. Um, it makes us different. I mean, for better, for worse, I don't know. I can't. I'm not here to make a judgment on good or bad. But wow, it's something though. There's a our calculator. I mean, soon it's going to be implants. That's going to be something.
We already have implants, just not calculated ones.
Imagine for a moment, like I think about those things sometimes, right? Like let's say they come out with implants, whatever, they manage to show enough people that they manage to convince enough people that they're safe, that, whatever. And all these people get these implants, right? And now they have a connection to the internet in their head, right? Which is instant. Like they don't even have to, you know, go with their fingers or anything. They just access the information. Um, would those people want to hang out with the rest of us that didn't get the implant yet because we're slow and stupid? You know what I mean? Like they can just go like, yeah, okay, so Mount Everest, like, yeah, okay, that's 3,000 blah, 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 miles, right? Like, or meters high. Like they'll have all the data they need at their fingerprint at any time, and all of a sudden you're like trying to join the conversation, right? And you're like, so Mount Everest, that's in Europe, right? And people are like, bro, what? Huh? Of course that's in Europe. Like, what do you mean? Dude, go get an implant for God's sake. Like the rest of us are talking here. So it's like, that's what I see coming. There's going to be a
Yeah, you
total
see a lot of
separation.
weird things. I see.
There's going to be a lot of separation between people if that happens.
There's already separation between people.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. But if it becomes tech and low tech, it's good. There's already a class separation, but once the class separation is represented by tech or no tech, then it's going to be a problem because you're going to suffer like greatly from not being able to do any of the things they can do. You know what I mean? Like, which employer, who do you want if you're an employer? The guy with the chip that can do everything, like, he can learn anything at a downloads, poof. And the other one going like, okay, so how do I do this, boss? So anybody that doesn't want the implants is going to be left behind. I'll be part of the people left behind. Don't worry. I'm going to live in the forest and I don't know, something.
Whatever with the rest of them.
There's a
I think
weird world
you
coming.
want to live in the forest no matter what.
Hmm. That's true too, though.
Well, Pam agrees with you.
Well, she doesn't agree. She just says I'm not wrong.
Same thing.
But yeah, it's but at the same time though, I think we need that. Like that's where we're going because we're discovering ourselves. We're I don't know how to. I say it all the time, and I don't know how to explain it. Like we're soon humanity is gonna have nowhere to hide from itself. All of our ugly bits are out. Like
Hmm.
everything that we can do screwed up, we do screwed up right now, and we're like, wow, okay, what's going on? And we can't like we're not in a position anymore where nobody's able to look at nobody else and go, ha ha, because everybody else turns around and goes, yeah, but you're no better.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh crap. Like everybody's canceling everybody left, right, and center. And it's like, yeah, because we're all guilty. We're all sinners. We're all whatever you want to call it. Who cares? We're all messed up. So of course we're all gonna find crap to cancel each other about. Because all of us need to be canceled if that's what the way we're going. Or we could also try the other way. We could try accepting each other.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I don't know. But it seems that one is met with so much
That's
resistance.
yes, that is. Because then there would be nothing fun to do in the world if there was no arguments.
No. No, no, I don't agree with that.
I wish I was on with you. I had thoughts I want to share about the phone.
About the phone. Well, you can. I mean, I don't know how long they are, but you can share them uh, through the chat. We'll definitely try to address them and understand.
The phone.
You know,
Now she's got me curious. She thinks she agrees, she says. I love it. I think so. Let me
very.
double check. Let me double check if I agree with that.
Wait up. What else did you say? Let me go back. I probably said plenty. I said enough to agree with and enough to disagree with. I'm sure. Um, that's what I do. I'm opinionated, so that's my calling card. Hi, I'm Frank. I'm an opinionated person. That should be it, though.
Did we talk about a phone?
Um,
She says, hang on. She's typing it all in.
there you go. That'll work.
Well, did we even talk about a phone? I don't remember talking about a phone.
Yes, the phone thing gets me lost as well. Um,
I don't.
share about the
That's
phone,
why
the
she's got me
phone, the phone, the
confused. Like,
phone.
I
How
don't
did
even
I get
remember
to a
discussing
phone?
a phone.
It's because you and I, like, we say things and then
And we
moments
don't know
later
what
we
we
have
said.
no idea what we said. So it's that's why we
Maybe
film.
that's why you always see us back together, because sometimes we say things that piss each other off, but then we forget.
I'm never really truly pissed at you.
Yes, you are sometimes.
No, not pissed like that. Not for a long time. I mean, I'll
No,
get
not for long,
angry.
because we forget.
I'll get angry and then I'm done because I don't know. It's no use making it longer.
You said a mouthful. Not gonna make her understand anything anyway, so why bother?
No, it's not like that. Um.
What is this
So what
phone
else were
thing?
we?
I don't know. My mind went blank when because I'm trying
So
to figure out
spiritual
about the
parenting. I
phone
mean,
thing.
whatever. You tell your kids what to believe. You stick them in the closet, and if they don't listen, whatever. No, shit. No.
The thing
No.
is, I mean, I guess I never really realized it, but like my beliefs aren't necessarily their beliefs, and their beliefs aren't necessarily my beliefs. And I guess I could brainwash them into thinking something if I would have tried and started that at an early age, but I didn't. So they basically believe what they want
But
to believe.
here's
Like I
my
don't tell.
problem. That's the pattern that humanity is caught in. Brainwashing children is what we call successful parenting.
Hmm.
It shouldn't be. We should stop brainwashing children and see what
Right.
happens. We should say, "Hey, so that's what I literally on a daily basis. That's why all the kids in my building, like they all say hi to me and what because when I see kids, I go, so what do you think about that?" And they just go, "Huh? What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. Hasn't anybody asked you?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm asking. What would you like out of this?" And all of a sudden, they'll start talking, right? And they'll be like, "Well, I'd like to do this," and you're like, "Okay, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, maybe could happen, right?" Like, and they
Hmm.
start talking. Now you're having a dialogue with a person. They're a little person. They can express. I mean, they only have certain amounts that they can express, and you have to work with the limitations and understand that. Yeah, sometimes you got to put your foot down because you're the dad and or the mom, but you know, okay, okay. So Frank was talking about like the AI stuff, yes, and thoughts. I got to tell you guys the story one day when we're talking live. But okay, wait up. Let's try to do this. Okay. Okay, so Frank was talking about like the AI stuff and so I got to tell you guys about this story one day when we're talking live, but ads started appearing on my phone that I have oh, yes, those things. Those are fun. Yeah, yeah. I get that all the time. I have a
Yeah.
Google Home. I have a Google Home too, so it yeah, it grabs a whole bunch of them. Oh, okay. Wait up. When I showed it, it didn't show the whole thing. Phone that I have never said out loud anywhere at all. I've just thought about something I want to do or need to do, and within that day or maybe a half an hour, I get an ad on how to do such and such, and I'm like, okay, how did the phone know I was talking about that? It's getting a little freaky. Yeah, you don't say. Plus, they're not even the typical ad stuff that you would usually get pushed at you. Yeah, it is getting a little. It's getting crazy and weird. The stuff they're pushing and the speed at which, and imagine they want us to have implants and stuff, like the same people I was just talking about, right? Imagine we have implants in our brains. How quickly is it going to be that they're going to literally push advertising in your brain to make you buy stuff? What could go wrong? I mean, really, what could go wrong? It's like, okay, like who comes up
Why
with
we
those
can't see the
ideas?
whole message?
It's like the internet. When the internet started, right? We were all like, okay, this is nice. Like people were expressing opinions and showing things and whatever. And it was just like, it was so, in its infant stage, it was like amazing. But all of a sudden, you started seeing ads and
Wait,
seeing advertisers, and it
she says she's
died.
starting to wonder.
If she has
Well,
an implant. Well, I don't think they're putting them in yet, but they're certainly developing them. No, they'll ask if we want them. They'll give us a crisis that can be cured by one, and then they'll that's my conspiracy theorist little side here. But they'll create a crisis that requires one to get through, and then we'll
what do
all
you think
run to get
the
one.
what do you think about the blah, 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 blah. What's the word I'm looking for? The
Oh, the prick. I don't know. I don't think much about it. I never trusted it, and I never got it. So
there's a lot of people that have been dying that have had and they got all kind of stuff growing in their body and stuff.
the problem is there's a lot of scientific information coming out that's showing, yes, there was a lot of stuff. um it's all politics. Like, it's all just politics and companies buying politicians, and that's it. But I mean, I don't know, it's like you guys are surprised. Like, the rest of the world has been seeing how your system works for years. You guys are starting to wake
I
up to
mean,
it.
come on though. We how long we've been trying to cure all these other diseases like cancer and different things, and all of a sudden a virus comes out and we find something to cure it in like a month.
No, no, it's not in like a month. 6 months prior, we were talking about that. 6 months, like I saw footage of 6 months prior.
That must be the government psychics that knew 6 months prior.
Yes, exactly. No, it was Fauci and all that bunch, and they were saying because they had the mRNA technology, and the footage I saw, they're on a panel and they're talking about it, and they're saying, well, we have all these old virus technology, like all these old technologies, and they're good, they work, whatever, but we have all these new ones, and they're like, but because we get bogged down by the process, it takes forever. It would take us 10 years to see the benefits from them. We need a faster process. And literally, Fauci went like, well, if something like, crazy happened from Asia or something, and came and whatever and infected people, well, then we could probably, like, pull it out fast. And I was like, wow, I can't believe they said that, like, literally just a few months before the pandemic. Like, this is a little weird. And it's all the people that then later get accused of having been involved in developing so you kind of go, okay, wait a minute, like, this is weird. Pardon me. This is like really just there's a point where it's conspiracy theorists, and there's another point where you kind of go, okay, like, if everything says that it's that, it's probably that. Like, regardless how weird it is, regardless how, but yeah, no, we this whole vaccine thing, it was such a mess.
Yeah,
Such a
still is a
mess.
mess.
It was well, still is, really. That's the weird part about it, is that with everything we know now, there's still mandates in place. And it's like, okay, why?
Because they
Like,
want to thin out the population.
that's one theory. It's not a very effective way. If that was literally what they wanted, one, they could have put something like way deadlier. They could have like really, really messed it up way bad. But also like it. Think about it for a second. The people you'd be eliminating is the large portion of the population that is willing to listen to you without argument. The people you would keep alive, on the other hand, are everybody that wants nothing to do with you. How long
Hmm.
till you die? Do you see what I mean? Like the only people that are going to be left alive are the anti-vaxxers. Okay, that's not who they want left. The people that revolt and don't listen and rebel and go, the hell with you. So it does. That's where I'm like, no, it doesn't make sense. I
Yeah,
don't
I never
think
thought
that
about it
was.
that way. That makes a lot of sense.
I don't think that was their goal. Not. I don't think they care if they lose a lot of people. Right. I think like that's just collateral damage. It's just whatever. Like we're gonna, we don't care about that. You're just numbers. You're just those people. Uh, that I think they're making clear now. They don't care about the people. Like if you're not part of the that class, I don't think they care. Especially in your country. I mean, it's just so much coming out all of a sudden. It's because of Trump, I think. He kind of just, whatever for whatever he was, he just it messed up the whole system. It made everything come apart, and not because
Poor
he
Trump.
broke it.
Everybody wants to pick on Trump.
No, but that's the thing though. I'm not saying he broke it. I'm saying it was broken. It's like, you had it's like if you had a little wicker chair that was barely holding together and Trump sat on it. You know what I mean? So the chair just gave and everybody went, "Ah, it's Trump." Well, no. It's just it was a wicker chair, dude. It was going to break. Your system was going to break. It is breaking. It is at its limit, and the only way they're trying to reboot it right now is through war. And well, it may work, but it's not a good way. I think the rest of the world is getting a little tired. Um, but it's, I don't know. I don't want to get into politics and stuff because I really I have no business talking American politics to begin with because
No, because
I'm not even from the states. So and we have our own clown to worry about.
you're gonna get us banned off of TikTok. I mean, YouTube, Canada, and America.
No, I may get us banned. America, Canada, our government is going to do that all by themselves. Like they're going to when Bill C-11 comes, we'll see if we can still have a podcast together.
Really?
Oh God. Well,
What
yeah,
is
they're gonna
C11?
basically put a barrier to any content provider in Canada. Like they're gonna decide what I watch on YouTube, but it's because they care.
Okay, you you made that look so believable.
they said they said it's because they care. So now
Okay.
I will see good content, the content that is acceptable, not the unacceptable content. That would be wrong. Anyways, enough about politics. Spiritual practices for times of crisis. There you go. That's a good one. Okay, so times of crisis. Let's
Came along
define
at the
times of
right
crisis.
time. Who came along at the right time?
Trump.
Oh,
She said that when we were talking
yeah,
about.
I just forgot about that. We were talking about Trump that fast.
Yeah, I know. Now we're gonna have like one half of the population hate us for one reason, and the other half hate us
Hey,
for
I
another
didn't vote for
reason.
Trump or Biden. I'm telling y'all right now, y'all can go look at my TikTok. I filmed it because my husband did not
Me
believe me.
neither.
He wanted me to go vote because he thought I was going to vote for Trump. But I voted for the man that said he was having a birthday party. He looked appealing to me. I videoed it. It's on my TikTok. Y'all can go find it. Yep. I don't care if he wins or he don't win. It don't really matter to me. I'm
I
gonna be
agree.
happy either way.
I agree with your vote. I didn't vote either. I didn't vote for either Biden or Trump. For all I know, I mean, I don't know. The Democrats might have grabbed my name and somehow made it vote, but um, yeah, I won't go there.
And
But
as far
anyways,
as I'm an open book. As far as the vaccine goes, yes, I am vaccinated. I only got vaccinated because my kids wanted to go on a cruise
that's most people.
to
It's
another
usually
country.
reasons like that.
So that was the only way I could go. Did it for my kids. I'll die for my kids.
It's the reason most people went is for traveling. For it was all for other reasons than because they actually thought it was going to change anything. I mean, some people did, but anyways. So spiritual practices for cultivating humility. Oh, that's a good one.
Mm, that's interesting. Say that again.
Spiritual practices for cultivating humility.
I mean, I don't know if I want to even go there. That can go different ways because what people consider humility is different. Everybody can, different
Okay.
people consider different things.
Well, we could start by defining humility. Then we know that we're talking about the same thing.
So to me, humility would be
Oh,
like,
wait up. I'm looking up the dictionary and
oh,
then we'll
you
go
want
from there.
okay.
Then we can say, okay, why I agree with that or not. But
Uh, uh,
freedom from, okay, wait up. Modest or low view of one's own importance, humbleness. Oh, I don't like that definition. He needs the
then
humility to
we'll
accept
be
that
having
their way
a
may be
war
better.
similar to Vax. Well, I have been starting to wonder if I have an implant. Hey, they probably put implants a few times. My
Mm.
mom, I don't think I have it. I did when they were younger, they had to get some sort of booster shot for something, and it scarred them. Like all the people like
It's
around my
just
mom's
because there was
age.
a whole bunch of
Yeah.
needles. It's got nothing to do with implants. It's because
No,
you were
I'm
getting
talking
30 needles at the same time.
really.
Everybody before a
No, this is
certain
a
date got
specific
that.
shot.
Yeah, everybody got that. They used to give it to everybody. Everybody has that scar that's after a certain age. It's a huge scar. It's like freaking big circle.
Yeah. Yeah. You got
Yeah,
it?
yeah. No, but my dad had it, and like everybody like older than me a bit. Not by much though. Like people that weren't that
Tell
much
you what,
older
I
got
don't
it.
put nothing past nobody. You just don't know.
Well, yeah, but I mean at that rate,
I'm not trying
then
to egg Pam on, like,
no. But
but
what
I
I'm
agree.
saying is for as long as you don't see, it's important sometimes. Like for me, it's important, and I try to do it in my own life, right? Because a lot of what I do, and a lot of what I even teach is all based on belief, right? And it's very important for me to differentiate what I have, which is considered belief, and what I have, which is considered science, like which is considered, you know what I mean, like a fact.
Mhm.
Um, and it doesn't mean that the one that's not considered a fact is not a fact.
Exactly.
It just means that it's not
A
proven
fact
one
for
way or
you,
another. Therefore, it's a belief because we haven't proved it yet.
but it can be proven for you and not for somebody else.
Um, to some extent, yes, like it can, but it's still going to be through somewhat of a scientific means.
But okay,
Yeah,
let's
that becomes a whole nother complete discussion on.
yeah, I have an example, and I don't want to use names, but I have a
Okay.
friend, and you know who this friend is because you know her too.
Hmm.
And her child fell off the bed and had um a piece of those plastic bins break, and the
Hmm.
plastic went in his eye. 3 weeks went by, and a big chunk of plastic comes out of his eye.
Hmm.
And she takes him back to the doctor, and the doctor is like, "No way that came out of this child's eye. There's no way that would have been in his eye for 3 weeks." And we're talking like a chunk of plastic.
Hmm.
But she watched it fall out of his eye onto his cheek. But the doctors didn't believe her because they didn't experience it.
Hmm.
It's the same thing like with mediumship and psychic abilities. Like if I tell you that I'm talking to a ghost, but you don't have a memory or an experience of talking to a ghost, you may or you may not believe me, but you
Hmm.
never experienced it for itself. Now, science has never proven that this can actually be done, but some people believe it can because they have experienced it. Even though science hasn't proven it, they have experience with it. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, but science will tell you that's subjective.
And they can say what they want, but to me,
If
it's
I
fact.
remove you from the equation, it's
Right.
not fact
E-
anymore
Exact. That's
because it's
why I
only
said
your
it's
perception that makes it fact. Therefore, it's not fact.
right.
So that's belief. That's
That's
why
why
I say that's something I believe.
and that's why I say it's something that can be fact for someone, but not someone else.
Then it's not fact. A fact is a fact for everybody. A belief is something that's a fact for you and not for anybody else.
No, I disagree. Because think of it
So
this
if
way.
I don't believe in gravity, if I throw stuff in the air, it's going to stop falling
No,
because gravity
but
is a fact.
it doesn't matter. That just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean that it's not a fact for me. It might not be a proven fact for humanity or for whoever, but it's a fact for me because it happened to me and I have nobody to prove it to but myself. I know it happened. So for me, it's a fact. For everybody else, it's not because I can't prove it to them.
Yes,
But
but the problem is when you push that to the extreme, we have entire buildings filled with people who have facts in their heads that make
mhm,
them completely dysfunctional and not able to function in society.
true. But
So
there are
it's
different
fact for them, especially for them. They're especially convinced that it's fact.
but there are people that are saying it's fact because they actually experienced it, and people that are saying it's fact because they experienced it with a mental illness or a drug or whatever the reason was.
So how do you know the difference?
Because if I don't have a mental illness and I don't and I'm not on drugs, I should be able to tell the difference.
Well, no, it's because one is a belief, which is one that I can't demonstrate to others,
It's a belief
and
for
one is
you.
a fact, the one that I can demonstrate to others. No, but the language, the word fact means
Okay,
that can be demonstrated.
so let's take it a little step further. I assume we're talking about mediumship. Um, let's take it a little step further and say that I channel someone in your family and I bring evidence or whatever things that I never knew or whatever. Would you then say it was a fact because I've proven myself to you and I've made you a believer? I'm not saying you're not a believer. I'm just using this as an example.
Uh,
Or how would you classify it then?
I'll believe it to be a fact,
Just like I believe it.
but I will not be able to make the statement that it's a fact because it's a belief. It's not a fact. It's not
Okay.
provable. A fact, a thing that is known or proven to be true. It has to be proven to be true. So if I
To whom?
experience
To
it, I
whom
know it
though?
exists, but
It
as far as
has
the rest of the world is concerned, it's a belief
it has to be proven to be true to who? To who
to
does
everybody. That's
to
the whole point.
everybody? You're
The
never
entire
gonna
point is to everybody.
if that's the thing, then we wouldn't have any facts because you can't prove anything to everybody. That's
Yeah, of
not
course you can. Of course
like
you can.
what?
Gravity. If I throw something in the air, it falls back down, regardless where I am, who I'm with, whatever.
Not
That's
necessarily.
a given. Yes, unless I'm
No.
on the moon, unless I'm on another planet. If I'm on planet Earth, this is how gravity
Just
works.
because you say it falls back down doesn't mean it actually falls back down. If you say that, then you don't believe in magic.
Okay, we're taking leaps into I don't know what land here.
Because
How does
one way,
one bring the? How does one make the other?
how is it does it not make the other?
Okay, I guess I don't believe in. Okay, I don't believe in magic.
But if you go on with one but not the you understand what I'm saying? Like just because it's a fact to me does not mean that it has to be a fact to you. Does not mean that it has to be proven.
If it's not a fact to both of us, then you believe it's a fact, and I believe it's not a fact, right?
So for me, it's still a fact because my
So,
belief is that it's a fact.
okay, if you go through life like that, you'll get hurt because
Maybe,
you'll
but
think
people get hurt
because
either way.
you'll think the fairy tale. You'll think like the tooth fairy is fact.
It could be,
Well, no, it's we have a language. We try to agree on what it means in order to use the same language, all of us. If you redefine the language every time you speak, you can't have conversations. A fact has to be proven to be true. You have
hmm
not proven anything to be true to me. You've told me, oh, I did this and it worked. And I'm going, okay, so I could tell you I'm
but
a millionaire. That
but
doesn't
you
mean I'm a
said
millionaire. It means I
you
said
s-
it.
okay. So you said that if I proved it to you, it would be a belief of yours. But
No. Well, yes.
but
Well, not if
but
you
that's
proved it. If you
would that then make it a fact if I proved it?
no, if it depends. If you proved it, well, then you would be proving it to everybody, not just to me.
But not if everybody's not there.
Okay, but Jill, whether I throw something in the air and it falls down, whether people are there or not there, when they're there, I'll be able to repeat it and show them as well, right? So that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
If what you're saying is you have a thing that you can demonstrate that it works
Yes.
to everybody that comes and
hmm
they all agree, yes, that works, then no, you're not in belief. Then you're
You
in
can.
fact.
That
Then
doesn't mean that
then
you
it's
are
the
going to
same as
demonstrate
gravity.
it to everyone that comes just because you can.
No, you don't have to. What I'm saying is if you cannot, that's a belief.
hmm
If you can't demonstrate it to everybody that comes, if you
But
can't have them say, I see it too, then no, it's a belief.
okay,
Because
I
or else
plead.
anything
I
I
don't.
say is true.
No,
Well,
we
yes.
just come to agree to disagree.
Okay, so the sky is green.
Sometimes, actually, it depends on how the sun is shining. Yes, it can be green, and you know this. It can be orange as well. And if they have a beautiful rainbow, there's green in the rainbow. Anything is possible.
Okay. Um. All right. Well, I don't know. I was just trying to go with what everybody in the
Welcome,
scientific
Jonathan.
community calls a fact. Like,
I think we need to
so
go
what's a
back and
belief then? What's a belief?
I don't know. I don't even know what we're
Well,
talking
that's the
about
thing
anymore.
because you took
We need
away
to go back and watch it
you took
because I
away
don't
what's
even
a
know
belief
how we
and
went
you
off
renamed
track.
it a fact. You
We
took what's a
totally went
belief.
off track for no reason because we weren't even talking about beliefs or facts. That wasn't the subject. So now we are talking about it.
Yeah, you don't say, fam.
Pam says I love Frank's speeches. That doesn't happen very often, does it, Pam?
Oh, it does. It does. So okay, yeah. I don't know. You lead us from here. I don't know where to go. So what else do we
So
have?
Jonathan believes he can fly.
It should
And you
be little
can.
green.
All you gotta do is get on an airplane. Definitely can fly.
That's very true. No, poor Frank. I'm okay. I'll survive.
It's
I'll,
it's
I'll,
this
I'll go
daily
cry a little
daily
bit later.
activity.
We're doing okay. Uh,
Trust me, Pam, it's gotten worse.
oh yeah, we can argue like pretty good sometimes. Uh, what else do we have?
Actually, we haven't done that in a while. It gets like a little scary when we're in the midst of it, but then it always ends up in laughter. So
It's okay.
we're good with
I'm
it.
not worried about it whatsoever. Well, I'm a Taurus, so arguing is my we're rooting
Forte.
for you, Frank. They're picking teams now. The search for meaning and purpose.
Okay.
Now that's a
Meaning and
good one.
purpose.
Okay. Everybody is looking for the meaning of their life. They've known
Hmm.
it all along. You got to look back when you're a kid. It's there. It's there all along.
It is.
It's that stupid thing that keeps on coming back that we all refuse and go, well, that couldn't be it. And then we do everything going every other direction except that one. Then we wonder, why am I so unhappy? Why are things never working? Then one day we go, maybe how about I listen to that stupid little voice? And all of a sudden it works because that's who we were and that's who we're supposed to be.
I must refrain from smoking throughout the show to look professional, Pam, if you must know.
She doesn't have to. I am not forcing anyone to do anything here. God, seriously. I am where's my whip? uh, but yeah, okay, so where was I going with this here? Oh no. What was I trying to
I don't even remember what you said, Frank. You know what we haven't used in a while is our little wheel.
do we still have it?
Yeah, somewhere.
What do you guys want to hear about? Anybody have a topic that they'd like to hear about? Oh, you missed this. You missed it, Jonathan. We were talking about the exercise yesterday.
What exercise? Oh, yeah.
Nobody has topics. All right. Well, the role of spirituality in politics, really? As if.
Here we go. Okay.
I don't know. For real. I don't.
That's
I
a
don't
tough
fully
one.
understand that language. Um, I know people that do, and it works for them. But I don't understand the whole
Yeah, we
4D,
talked about the
3D, 5D.
automatic writing. So, to me, from what I haven't like deeply studied into this, but from what I have studied about the 3D shift is basically um new souls being born are coming in with a higher awareness, a newer awareness, more gifted people are being born, and the earth is shifting and in a way where we're gonna see things in a different way. Like basically, this is really hard to explain. So everything you know the concept of everything taking place simultaneously.
Hmm.
So simultaneously, we're in this this shift, and on one level, we can understand the people that haven't evolved, and on the other level we can understand the people that have evolved. But we're all doing this at the same time, so that's why it feels like a shift.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. I'm looking at the same time on a website there as we speak, and it's yeah, it's pretty much what they're talking about the consciousness of being one, and like they're kind of bringing it to that, which is what the three different levels of consciousness: 3D, 4D, and 5D. Um,
Can a 12 p.m. be a 3D shift since is
can
when the veil is thinner? I don't know what you're talking about. The veil thinner at 12 p.m. I know the veil to be thinner like around 2 3 a.m., not 12 p.m. Um, so I'm not
if we're talking
exactly
different
sure what you're
systems, even
saying.
the veil could represent something completely different.
Hmm.
Um, I use a system that has a
But
veil, and it's
but
not. the same.
What I don't mean is, if I'm understanding your question right, what I'm not talking about is a shift because the veil's thinner at a specific time for a witching hour. What I'm talking about is a permanent shift. It doesn't just happen during the witching hour. Like the earth is totally shifting at all times to completely move into 5D.
It's See, I
You
talk
can
often about duality, like being in. Once you reach 4D, you become available. You become aware of that. It's a reduction. Like you can take any of the models of the different levels of consciousness, if you want to call them that, and they're all gonna work because basically all they're doing, every single one of them, is taking the human experience and breaking it down into a chart, right? It's not the opposite way. It's not we wrote a chart so we could know how to function as humans, right? No, we are humans and we went, okay, how do we work? And so we have different languages and different models that represent all the same things. So what it is growing towards reaching the awareness of that duality, the duality that's outside of us, the duality that's inside of us, reaching awareness of the oneness that we are with the world, that we are with source, that we are with everything. And it's feeling that oneness, because knowing that you're one with everything is one thing. Like in your brain, you kind of go, okay, everybody says it, and I kind of get it. It kind of makes sense, whatever. But then learning in your heart that that's how it is, like having the experience of it, feeling. I don't know how to describe that. I always do the same thing when every time I'm talking about it, I want to touch it with my hands. Uh, like there's the image you kept on showing, like the that energy. It's always there. It's not a thing that you make appear or disappear. Everything is that, and so you can touch it at any time. You can use it, you can embrace it, you can let it run through you, you can have it cleanse you, you can have it because you're part of it. So
This is actually Frank, by the way, guys.
no, it's not me. But there's a fluidity, and that's, I think, what they're referring to is as you reach the different stages, like through, but in their case they're breaking it into 3D, 4D, 5D.
Yeah. So let me kind of explain a little bit to Jonathan from what I'm thinking he's meaning. So he's saying that the shift is that he's saying basically like you can make connections better at like 2 3 in the morning. It's known as the witching hour. Now I'm not telling you what the witching hour actually means from looking at it. I'm telling you my opinion of how I take the witching hour to mean. The witching hour is, it's just in your head is what I think it is. Because at 2 3 in the morning the world is quiet and you can relax and you can make the connections more easily. It doesn't mean you can't make it during the day. You'll notice in the circle, Jonathan sits in circle. In the circle, we have people in other countries that it is daytime and they make just as good connections, if not better, than we do. So, and it's not the witching hour for them. So that is it all depends on the person. Everybody's different with their connections. So to say the veil's thinner at a certain time, I don't necessarily believe that. I think the veil is thinner when the person is ready to accept it, if that makes sense.
Well, in some sense we may each have our own schedule that varies.
Right.
Now it's gonna, I think, for some of the reasons those hours have been sort of like nominated, if you will,
Hmm.
is because that's where it will be for most people, because that's when people are sleeping. That's when the entire consciousness
And
around you is now in dream state. It's all
and to
already
be
in the
honest,
astral.
That's when it's easier for me. I mean, y'all all know I'm a night person. I stay up all night. I go to sleep by four
Hmm.
o'clock in the morning. Um, but it's not that way for everybody, obviously, because we've seen through experience in the circle with the people from other countries that come in that have awesome connections and they're got, they have the daylight
They're
in
in
the
the middle of the
background.
day. Yeah, yeah.
For me, it's not comfortable to sit in a circle during the daylight hours. I'm just, not that person.
Well, I can't say I know how you get like how you guys connect with anything, so I don't understand it all the time. But I mean, I'm like, what would it matter that the veil would get thinner, or like, because I mean, as far as I can tell, you guys can break through it anyways.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Basically what I'm saying is I think it's just a metaphor. It's not it's not that it is or it isn't. It's something that's in our head. The world is quieter.
Well, the entire world is in our head.
Well, not the world. Let's say the country is quieter. And that's why they say that you the veil's thinner because it's quieter. But it's not quieter on the other end of the world where it's daylight. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
but
to
what matters
me,
is your existence,
right.
not
But it's
what's
it's
going on
everybody
anywhere
else has
else.
a different feeling.
Yes.
Like let's say, for example, if you're scared of the dark or
Hmm.
you may be scared of ghosts or scared of monsters, whatever, coming to get you at night. When the sun comes up, all of a sudden that fear goes away. Why is that? Why does that fear only at night? You know what I mean?
Dark.
Um, in the dark.
That's why. It's the only reason. It's because it's dark. Because humans get afraid when it's dark.
Hmm.
Because dark is dangerous for humans.
So,
We
like
live in houses now. We're okay, but
Frank's the type of person that he works well in the day or at night. He can do both. Like
oh
he'll
no,
go in the forest
mostly
during the day.
daytime.
Yeah, mostly day, but you can do both. But he'll go in the forest during the daytime and he'll do his rituals and he'll film his you'll see in his videos most of the time it's daylight. If you go look on his YouTube. Um and if y'all not following Frank, y'all need to go follow his YouTube too on Boundless Mind. But you'll see on his videos a lot of times it's daylight because he's comfortable with it. For me, not so much.
Yeah, you're a night. You're a night person.
I'm a night person.
But I used to be though. It's funny because, but like, yeah, there's a whole thing
Jonathan's
about
a
it.
night
But
person. Um, Pam's more of a night person.
I wouldn't discard your belief, Jonathan, because we both are fairly clueless when it comes to the 3D, 4D, 5D thing. We're only throwing ideas out there though, so you may have a better definition than we do, even for all I know.
For you, it's already happening, Jonathan, because you can already make that connection in both dimensions.
See, that's what. That's the thing. That whole language, like, it confuses me. I never managed to wrap
A
my head
lot of
around
this
it.
stuff is confusing.
It just doesn't. It's just I find some of the other systems that are more split into smaller parts, and um, I find that they'll give you more detail. They'll give you more precision in what you're experiencing. The 3D 4D, like, it confuses me. And then, it continues, right? Like, based on what I'm reading here, it goes on to 6D and 7D, but I don't know enough about it. Um, but yeah, I mean, because it's a model of human, because you're saying, Jonathan, like, so we can make a 3D shift happen. Um, yes, it's like that system is just, it's a language that represents us uh, gaining an understanding of what we are, because in effect we are the universe, we are everything, uh, because everything is one, and that's, it's not just a thing to say, it's literally practical. It can be used because we're one with the world. We have a certain amount of control over that world, and we can send energies. We can send, people will say send intentions, but it's a little more than that. You send an energy, but you imbued it with intention. Um, but all those things are feasible because we have that power, because we have that energy behind everything. We have the etheric, we have the astral, and all those things exist, and we can tap into them. That's the gift that humans were given. We're the only creature on earth that's able to do that. We're the only creature that's able to refuse to eat. Right? Like, we're just gonna let ourselves just, well, there's other creatures that can stop eating, but we always have the choice. We always have a choice with everything. We can either do it or not do it. But and that's what makes us amazing, and the fact that we are the creators. So anything, if you look at the world, and this is like, sometimes I go a little bit off the deep end here, but if you look at the world and you look at the things that are happening right now, and then you look back at Hollywood for the last 30 years, you'll see a whole description of everything that's going on now. And I believe what's going on is that we're all magicians. We're all people that can throw around energy and can set intentions. But unfortunately, even though we can do it, we're not aware that we can do it. We're not aware that we're doing it, and we keep on repeatedly doing uh we were talking earlier about the whole pandemic and whatever, right? And like, it's easy to jump into the nefarious people we're trying to blah blah blah, and the truth is, it's probably not even that. It's because there's so many moving pieces and so many, and it's all one energy, one current that takes a direction, and everything else, every action made by humans, just follows that energy. So it's not the details are not important. It's being able to see what's behind. It's being able to see, what are we creating right now. I mean, at this point, we're creating a whole lot of crap because we're all dishing out a lot of hate. Everybody's hateful. Everybody's like, wanting to be right about everything. We're picking sides on things that don't even have sides. We're really, really losing it, you guys. Humanity's having a hard time right now, but we need to stop with the anger. Like, that's my whole thing is that should be our pandemic. That should be the one concern that humans have. We should be trying as hard as we can to eradicate anger as a reaction, because anger is not an emotion. Like, a lot of people don't seem to be aware of that, but anger is a reaction to an emotion, and typically it's a reaction to a hurt. And the problem is that anger, like a hurt, makes us vulnerable. It makes us feel like, oh my God, something could happen to me. Where when we turn it into anger, it gives us a power. We're now, it's their fault, and we're going to show them, and we're going to be the righteous person. Right. So anger gives us that position, and that's our ego that feels that. And I believe that's the number one problem that humanity's having right now. We're fueled with anger. We're hating each other for every reason we can find, and it's contagious. Like, just try. You'll, wake up one morning, you're doing fine, everything's awesome, and then going out in a small apartment with like five people that are angry at each other. And tell me how long it takes before you become angry. Like, that's our real pandemic. That's the problem we have. Is that we have anger, we have resentment, we have hatred, and we're fueling those things. And we need to start learning gratitude and forgiveness. And we need to look at ourselves and say, hey, you know what? We're great. We're awesome the way we are. And, like, here's what, guys, like, if you want to do something spiritual today, here's what you're going to do. You're going to pick a person in your life, a person that, maybe they're struggling. Maybe sometimes you guys hate each other, like, or you give each other a hard time. And you know what? Find something about that person, because everybody's got something. They're going to have something that they're working really hard at. And that something is the one thing that means the most to them. And more than likely they're working at it super alone, and they're having a hard time, and it's super hard. And you know what, if you're that person that shows up that one day and just says, hey, you know what, dude, I notice what you're doing and you're doing a great job, just so you know, I thought somebody should let you know, and just leave, and don't expect them to give you thank yous, don't whatever, just say it in order for them to have a better life for that moment, right? And that's all we need to learn to do, is to do these little things for each other. Is that when we see a person that's struggling, we go, hey, you know what, you're actually doing well, look, you're doing this good. And the person will go, huh, okay, maybe I am. And if we all just do it a tiny bit, it doesn't even have to be a lot, but if we all just kind of start going in. But no, we all come on the internet to hate on each other. It's ridiculous. It's such a, we need to learn to. And the worst part is that it all comes from the fact that we hate ourselves. It's not others we hate. We're Others have no power over us except for what we give them. So when we hate, it's not others we hate, it's ourselves. So we gotta learn, people. We gotta, if you don't do it yet, have a gratitude book, write things you're gratitude about, think about things you're gratitude, that you're grateful about all the time. Find positive people to surround yourself with, fix your environment, make it, a nice place rather than a messy place. Like, it's important to work on yourself. Why is it people will find time to binge watch an entire show, but they can't find 15 minutes to meditate, 15 minutes to look at themselves and to give
5 minutes
themselves
to
love?
meditate.
Like, I mean, you can find the time and you can do it, and you're doing it for you. You're gonna feel better. Why do we all want to feel better, but like none of us want to do what is needed to feel better? It's I swear to God, I don't know the real ratio, but I suspect it's high. Like, if people came and said, I want to feel happy, and I was able to tell them, I don't know, lift this rock and you'll feel happy, half of them would not even try. Like, they would be like, oh, but it's a heavy rock. And it's like, okay, yes, but it's the heavy rock of happiness. It will make you happy. And half the people would not lift the rock. And I mean, anybody that lifts the rock, yeah, there's happiness under. But I don't know how to, like, we're so busy hating on each other and so busy. We got to fix that. We really do. How do we fix that, Jill? Give us the solution.
I don't think there is a solution. I think it's always going to be a thing.
Yeah, that's quite possible. I don't know, though. I think there's a shift coming. I think things are going to change.
Maybe a 3D shift.
Yes, people
Yes,
tend to be
people are
very
selfish.
selfish. Well, it's the ego. We're all egocentric, and for good reasons. The reason we became egocentric is because that was our best survival tool for millions of years. So we went, hey, you're in charge. But now it's not the right tool anymore. And we're going, you're in charge. And then we're face planting everywhere and going, why am I not? Well, because you're letting the wrong guy drive. You're letting the ego drive. And it's not the world we live in anymore. We're not fighting saber-toothed tigers anymore. Yeah, now we're about to meet those guys or something. I hope we don't yet.
Can't wait.
We have too many movies where we just kill them, so I don't think they'll come in and be like,
It's not
"Hi,
just in the movies. They actually are killing them.
what?"
Whenever something flies over, they just shoot it down. So, I mean, like, I wouldn't want to meet y'all either.
Well, they haven't shot anything. They shot air balloons that belong to scouts or whatever. That's all
Yeah.
they shot.
They'll shoot anything.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they'll tell you it's aliens if they believe that it'll serve their purpose. But we haven't shot some yet. But we would. I'm certain we would. Well, here's the deal. If they truly thought they were aliens, then there's the answer, isn't it? So they came. We thought they came down. We shot them. Like, wow, okay, that's promising. I think they should stay far. I mean, if they're watching us, they're going, "Why would we go there?"
Oh, they are
Like,
watching us.
they're making movies about killing
They're among
us.
us.
They're. It's like, well, again, they may be. We don't know that. We can believe that. I believe that they exist for sure. Like, but as to whether they're among us and what their names are and what they do and whatnot, I don't know.
No,
It's
that's another topic for another day. Because we're going on in an hour and 40 minutes already.
yeah, my camera's gonna cut off soon.
So, guys, we thank you for joining us. We thank you for all the interaction. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Um, let me. Okay,
Make sure to join us next week. Make
next
sure
week.
to share, like. The like is a tiny little thing, but it really helps, especially if you're watching on YouTube. YouTube really likes the likes. If you're watching on Facebook, I mean, still like, share on Facebook. Even it's easier. Uh, but yeah, try to get us out there, and if you guys think we're
And
interesting,
we'll,
maybe some of your friends
yeah,
will.
the more we're liked and shared and grow, the more interesting the topics will get because the more interaction we'll have. We depend on you too a lot in the comments to interact with us. Tonight was great interaction. We thank you for
My,
that.
my happiness relies on your likes. No, I'm joking, but still send them. But if you want to be mean, be mean. It's okay. I'll probably respond kind.
All right. Good night, everyone. We'll be back on Thursday next week, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Good night.
Take care, you guys.